My name is Kevin Linke. I am a father, I am a fighter, I am a felon. None of those things define who I am, but all of them have made me the person I am today. I've done some truly great things throughout my life, and I've made some missteps. I'm sure many of you watching this video can relate. 9 years ago, I became a father to the most amazing little girl. My daughter was and remains the center of my world. 15 months after she was born, I found myself pulled into the nightmare that is family court. For the last 8 years, I have been fighting to not only get back to my daughter, but to also make sure that no other parent has to endure the heartache that I live with every day due to the corruption of a very broken system. I have had no contact with my daughter in the last 5 years. I have never been accused of abuse or neglect, nor have I ever given up my parental rights. Quite the opposite, in fact. Report after report states that I have a very strong bond with my daughter and that we should be together. Yet, due to the brokenness and corruption of family court, my relationship with my little girl has suffered irreparable harm. In response to the court sanctioned kidnapping of my daughter, I began to push back against the system and those responsible for taking her from me. This fight has been the single hardest endeavor of my life, and it has come at a very steep price. Not only did I take on our local court system, I also directly confronted the players involved who created the culture of corruption in my community that allowed my daughter to be taken in the first place. I haven't always played nice, but I've always fought fair. At the end of the day, I can live with my choices and my mistakes. I would love for you to follow along with me on my journey as I not only tell my own story, but also the stories that have plagued my community for decades. I live in a very challenging place that has been the victim of rampant public corruption filled with unethical and dishonest public officials, as well as some of the very worst sex offenders and predators society has to offer. When I first began the fight to get back to my daughter, I uncovered a system that is rife with some of the most vile and evil individuals I've ever encountered. 4 years ago, I created a Facebook group titled Through My Eyes that garnered substantial community support. It is that Facebook group that has allowed me to shine a very bright light on the substantial issues that plague my community. It hasn't always been easy, and I've had to deal with some very dark days due to my social media activities. But as every parent should, I've shown up every day ready to fight for what's most important to me, and that is my little girl. As you will see in the upcoming videos, my fight has evolved from a single father trying to protect his daughter into a social movement that has inspired the community to directly confront the bad apples that have instilled fear and relied upon intimidation to further their agenda of control and corruption. My efforts haven't always been pretty, nor are they for the faint of heart. But when you're battling a system that holds all the power, sometimes you must resort to methods that not everyone agrees with. I've been shooting from my hip for the last 4 years. Now I'm stepping into my power and amplifying my voice for everyone to hear. This is my story, as seen through my eyes.